what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So we have our first update on Salvinos JR models. This is their 1971 Plymouth Chrysler, or you want to call it the Roadrunner. And it's pretty much ready for paint at this moment in time. And I had not built one of these old gen NASCARs in quite a few years, I gotta say. But it's come together very well. And since I built one a few years ago, I kind of know what I'm doing. But let's go ahead and show you what we got so far. So we got the chassis pretty much mostly assembled. A lot of it is separate, but it's just mock fitted together. And it's looking pretty good. So we do have our big honkin' Hemi in here. This is the 426 or something like that. This thing is insane. And I just can't believe they actually raised these things back in the day. It's just so cool. This is a big engine. So majority of this is together. And then it is molded in different colors. You know, you got the silver and you got the blue and stuff. So you are gonna paint this and stuff. And then the transmission is gonna be an aluminum color. But for this particular for this car, that Richard Petty, he had different color engines. But in most cases, and in the instructions in this kit, it does say that the engine is machine blue. And there's a picture of it on your screen. It's a very cool engine. You can do it in machine blue, or you can do it in the Hemi orange if you want to. But I don't think I looked it up, and Richard Petty, he did not want it in the Hemi orange. He did it a couple of races, I believe. Then he's like, no, I'm doing it blue. So for the machine blue, we came across Tamiya, and we're just gonna be using the Tamiya Pure Blue, and this is very close to machine blue. If I want it a little bit darker, we can add some more black into it, but not a big deal. But this is gonna be very close to machine blue, and it's gonna be much lighter or much darker than his actual car. So that's what we're gonna do for the whole engine. And for up here for the intake, this is different. This is totally up to you as well. You can do it in machine blue, leave it in machine blue, or you can do it in like aluminum. So I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with that yet, but it's not a big deal. We can easily detail paint that. If I want aluminum, they would get different contrast. But other than that, everything else down here is going to be in that machine blue, and then of course the transmission in the silver or aluminum, whatever you want to do. But yeah, pretty cool. The engine went together pretty well, and there is some things in this kit that are very kind of a little confusing. That's probably what kind of got me messed up on the first one I built, which was the Monte Carlo. On the instructions, there's some part numbers on the for the parts are kind of wrong. So I believe this part number, I believe it's like a 10. I did highlight it, and it's just some things. There we go. So it says it's a part number 9, but it's actually part number 10. So make sure you do look at the pictures. This instruction sheet is very blurry. I'm not sure if you can tell on camera, but it's really not clear. It's very blurry. So I just had to look I had to quadruple check. It's weird. JR models, some of their instructions are really clear, and this one you can see is like just really blurry. I mean, it looks like you're wearing glasses, even though you're not. I mean, it's so weird, these instructions. So there's a few parts in this kit that are the part numbers are wrong. Not a lot, but there are. I'm going to throw out there. There are a few out there. The part numbers are wrong, so it kind of threw me off a little bit. But not too big a deal. You'll kind of understand it if you built a few of these. Again, this is my second one that I'm building, even though it's been like probably 5 years since I built the last one. So we got our chassis here. Our roll cage is not in because I do want to paint this thing separately. So we got our back clip back here, and then the roll cage was a really nice assembly. This thing went together pretty well. The freight is going to be really fiddly. Only thing with my kit, this top deck part, it did snap on me. I'm not sure, it was kind of weak from the molding or whatever. When I broke up from the parts tree, it really snapped in half, but not too big a deal. Glue it back together, and it's pretty strong. But the whole roll cage went together pretty well. All this can be blue. This is all blue. So Richard Petty, his whole cars were entirely blue. The body, the interior, chassis, roll cage, everything. So this is gonna be painted in Richard Petty blue, or Petty blue you want to call it. So pretty cool. And we do have another brace back here for this hole, and that kind of lines up to this hole right here. So that way I keep separate because I am not gluing in the roll cage quite yet. But yeah, this is a really nice assembly. It went together pretty well. Just take your time, use actual cement. If I use the extra thin cement, use the quick setting right here, the light green bottle. It will really quick weld these really fast, so we're not holding it 5 years. So get this stuff. This stuff works fantastic from Tamiya, and it literally, you know, once you put a dab on there, put it on there, hold it for like not even a minute, like probably 20 seconds, and then it's set to dry. A couple of 3D printed parts we're putting on here. We do have a proper driver seat. This is actually the seat that they used back in the day. The JR model kit one, it's just not accurate. And here it is. You can see, I don't know, it just doesn't look right, and you can kind of compare the differences. So yeah, so I printed this. It's pretty cool. So yeah, this JR one is just not really right for the time period. And then we are gonna download the picture that this file came with, and he has his you know what call it, diamond stitching, whatever you want to call it. So we're gonna do that for the inside of the seat and stuff. So pretty cool. So we got that going, and here is the chassis, and this is quite a bit of work right here. So again, if you saw my unboxing video, if you know these JR kits, these older 70s cars, the chassis is built in 2 pieces. So you got the rear half and you got the front half. The reason being is because they have the Monte Carlo, Charger, the Roadrunner, and the Oldsmobile, and all 4 of those cars, 5 of those cars are different wheelbases. This one, I believe, is the shortest wheelbase of them all. So another reason why it's separate is because they use the same chassis, and instead of making a whole new mold for each chassis for each one of those kits, they just use the same chassis, and that way you can adjust the wheelbase. So that's why it's built in 2 pieces. It's not too big a deal. It's not, you know, it's very convenient for them, and it saves them a lot of money, but you are going to have to do some filling. So I use some actual like putty, like 2-part epoxy putty, put that in there, and it filled it in very nicely. The fire signature, I did fill that in as well because I'm not using the kit fire signature. I'm going to take that here in a little bit, but this was separate. You can glue that in because that's going to be interior color along with this roll cage bar. Glue that in. You can either glue it on here at the firewall, or you can glue it onto the roll cage. I decided to glue it onto the firewall, and then that's pretty much about it for that. The engine bay, all this is going to be the same Richard Petty blue. Make sure you do research on the car that you're doing. It could be a different color, but instead this is Richard Petty, is all blue. So we got the roll cage part area on the engine bay. This is all gonna be that blue, and then the suspension, the upper suspension control arm, you want to call it, that is going to be in the machine blue. So we're gonna detail paint that to machine blue from Tamiya. And then a lot of the other suspension parts. So we got the steering knuckles and stuff. We got these guys. We're gonna paint those in machine blue as well. And then we got the lower part of the suspension, again machine blue. So the machine blue is just kind of the accent color. It just kind of helps mechanics kind of notice the parts, because you know if you're painting all one color, it's just a big glob of light blue. So, but all this right here is gonna be that petty blue, and then we flip it to the underside. So you see there's a lot of like putty and stuff. It's because this chassis is just full. I mean, it's just full of injector pin marks. All these little things are injector pin marks. There's one right here, I sanded it off, but yeah, there's a lot of injector pin marks. So if you're planning on taking the shows and you want to show the underside, you have to do a lot of work, which we're doing here. And then again with the putty, we did fill this all in because this is hollow for this part right here, and then right here where the split is. So I think, oh no, yeah, well, whatever, it's just all hollow, so it does not look right. So again, with some putty, not a big deal, filled it in as smooth as it does a doornail, so that's gonna look pretty cool. And then yeah, these injector pin marks, this is probably the most injector pin marks I've ever seen in a model kit. I'm not gonna lie, there's a lot in this kit on this chassis, so you're gonna do a lot of work, but other than that, it is done. It's just a little time consuming, but not too big a deal. And then we do have our rear deck. This separates the trunk. Again, this will be Richard Petty blue. This is back here. It kind of locks into the roll cage back here. So don't glue it in unless you're gluing it in the roll cage. So yeah, so keep it separate as well. So that's gonna be Petty blue. So there is that. We got the dashboard. Dashboard is gonna be black, and then over here, I think the whole thing might be in aluminum. I'm not sure. So we're gonna do that. And that, we might add some 3D printed actual good switches, you know, 3D switches, so we might do that. So there's that. For the wheels and tires, or the wheels, you do have a couple options. So you got these beautiful wheels right here, and this is what the kit tells you to use, or you do have these ones. Now, for if you're doing this car, 1971 Richard Petty Chrysler Plymouth, or the Roadrunner, you have options. I do see pictures of him running these wheels, and I do see pictures of him running these wheels. So it's completely up to you. So I might rock these because these look pretty cool. I mean, then again, these do look pretty cool. I mean, these are really, I'm not sure. I'm so torn. I'm gonna paint them both, but the wheels are gonna be a machine blue as well, the darker blue. So I'm gonna paint both wheels. I'm gonna choose which one I want to use. I'm not sure yet. These are pretty cool, but the other ones are pretty neat as well. So you have options on this car because he ran both wheels on this car. So I've seen pictures of them both. So I don't know yet. I'm kind of torn between the two wheels. So that's that. And then these are the tires that goes on with the wheels. Beautiful. I still got to clean them up a little bit, but yeah, they're just really nice wheels, tires, and treaded tires. So just really, really nice. So there's that. Also for the chassis, did 3D print a proper exhaust. This one actually has the opening inside, so we do have that. This is the actual proper exhaust for that. There is the fire extinguisher I mentioned earlier. So you got that, and then this is the kit one. So yeah, I chose it. Yeah, I'm not gonna use the kit one. That's just really poorly detailed. It doesn't look right. So we're gonna ditch kit one, put in the 3D printed one that just looks a lot better, and this is actually one he actually used back in the day. And then of course we do have a new shifter because the kit shifter was really small, so this one is gonna fit in there pretty well. And yeah, so there is that. So that's pretty much all for the 3D printed parts. And of course we do have the distributor because we're gonna wire and detail the engine. So but other than that, that's everything we got 3D printed. Actually, we do have some on the body, which we'll show you here in a little bit. But yeah, so other than that, the chassis pretty good. Just gotta do a lot of cleanup. If you're planning on taking this to shows and you want to show the bottom, you're gonna have to do a lot of injector head marks and filling where the hollow parts are, but it's not a big deal. People always complain about their two-piece chassis, but it's just, you know how much these molds cost. I mean, for them to do a whole new, chassis with the basically the same chassis but with a different wheelbase, that's hundreds of thousands of dollars right there. So they just save money on that chassis. Here is the axle, and we basically will do this all together because it's all black. So these older cars, they're all black. So you get your release spring separate. You do have a spacer right here. You have multiple spacers. I mean, you have tons of spacers. So if you really want to lower this car, starting to onto the weeds, you have tons of spacers. These are the spacers right here. And this kit, it does tell you to use 2. So, but I used 2, and that's gonna slam the car down to its wheels, down to the ground. If you don't want to use any of those spacers, you don't have to. If you want to the car, because these older cars, they were muscle cars, they do have the squat in them. So if you really want that, don't add any of those spacers, but I add it because I do want this car to sit down onto the ground like a proper race car, NASCAR. So you do have your axle pumpkin molded, or the whole axle is molded separate, so you have to get that seam line. You do have your diff, or your front and back part of your pumpkin separate, and then this part is separate as well. Then make sure, if I were you, put your metal axle in before you do glue your 2 halves of your axle together, just so it's in there, because I can't really get it out right now. Actually, it will come out. So, but just glue it in there so that way it's in there, and then you don't have to worry about it and try to struggle to get it through when it's glued together as well. But other than that, this will be all black, and it's a really nice assembly. So that is that. So let's go ahead and go to the body. Here is the beautiful Roadrunner body. This thing is absolutely fantastic. I love this body style. So we have our hood pins sand off because I'm going to add some 3D printed hood pins, more 3D dimensional ones. So there's that. The front grille, we added this little piece of styrene because a lot of these cars actually had that. It's actually a block off, so there's not too much air going into the engine bay. Because most of the air is going to this part right here, this part of the radiator. So a lot of these cars actually had that block off, and so we did that with some styrene sheet. And 3D printed wise was these back plates back here. So these are molded onto the body, but they did not have the proper ribbing. They had a little less ribbing, so I wanted more ribbing. So with the file, with the seat and stuff, it actually included these. And yeah, so these actually have more ribbing, include a smaller spoiler, and it actually included these side pieces as well. Because the kit one actually had these molded in, but they were not rivets, and the real one actually had rivets. So glued all those on there, and that's pretty much the only thing 3D printed onto the body, and then that's my body color. But the body turned out pretty good. It's really well molded, so really nice, not too much cleanup. I might get rid of these injector pin marks on here. This kit has a lot of injector pin marks. I mean, the chassis, like part of the leaf springs had pin marks. I mean, there's pin marks everywhere. I'm not sure why that is, but if you're planning on taking the shows, you're gonna have to do a lot of sanding to get rid of those things or fill those in or whatever. There's just a lot of pin marks in these kits. Don't know why, but hey, whatever. I'm not complaining. It's easy to sand them out. Hood fits wonderful, and then again, we did sand off the trunk batches as well. But other than that, guys, this is pretty cool. I'm looking forward to it. We are going to get this thing in paint this weekend and stuff, and then we are using Petty Blue from Splash Paints. Of course, you can use light blue from Tamiya. They say that's the closest one right there, but I got the proper Petty Blue from Splash Paints. He makes this, and if you want the proper blue from Richard Petty, yeah, Splash Paints has it. Sam hooked me up. He just sent me this Monday, I just got this package Monday, along with a bunch of other colors. So pretty cool. So thank you so much, Sam, for sending this kit for this bottle of paint out to me. And this kit might use this whole bottle. I'm not gonna lie, because you got the body, the chassis, the roll cage, the interior. I mean, literally almost the whole kit is in this Petty Blue, and then some black parts, and then your gas tank is like what, red or aluminum back in the day. I gotta look at the instructions and stuff, but yeah, there's just a lot of Petty Blue. Even, oh no, this is machine blue. So yeah, this is machine blue. You can do this in Petty Blue as well, but yeah, there's a lot of blue, so it might use this whole bottle. I'm not sure, but all right, guys, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. There will be a painted video. I'll be recording myself painting this body. We are going to prime it and paint it in that beautiful blue, Petty Blue from Splash Paints, and then this should be pretty cool. But alright, guys, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed, and until my next video, we'll catch you next time.